What's happening, folks? Coach Johnson here. Today I'm going to tell you 3 ways that resistance training helps you actually lose body fat. Let's get into it. So resistance training is when you are working your skeletal muscles past the point of fatigue. So not endurance work like jogging or running, but actually enough energy and intensity where they simply give up or come very close to it. You don't necessarily have to go to complete failure, but you have to be close to it. So weight training would be the number one way to do that. That's the simplest way. But you can do body weight stuff, TRX, resistance training, band training, anything that's going to make you really, really tired and cause your muscles to basically either stop working or come close to it. So that's resistance training. Here is the benefit number one, or the methodology in which this style of training helps you lose actual body fat. The first way is that you will actually burn calories while performing the exercise. So much like if you went for a 2-mile jog, you might burn 200 calories, whatever the case might be, depends on your size, lots of the factors. If I perform a weight training session, there's going to be a certain number of calories above and beyond my basic metabolic rate or basal metabolic rate that is required to do the activity. So those calories are, going to be exchanged from my body tissue, my carbohydrates or my stored body fat. Yay! The second way is from a process called excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. That's a mouthful. That sounds pretty fancy. And what that means is when your body is pushed to an intense activity, the recovery requires exercise oxygen above and beyond its regular metabolic functions to recover from that exercise. If you go for a jog and you jog 2 miles, 3 miles, whatever it is, you jog for 20 minutes, for endurance, there's not enough stimulation in that, generally speaking, to kick in the excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, EPOC. Most people just call it afterburn. And this is almost like a free bonus of weight training. People don't often think about this part. So again, this effect will usually last between 12, 24 hours after the exercise before your metabolism will dial back down to its normal level. How much effect you get out of it is very dependent upon how intense the session is. If it's just a little bit more intense than your typical cardio, it's a very minor effect. But if it's like one of those sessions where you feel like you can barely walk and you are sore and man, you just feel drained, that's a good sign you're going to kick in that EPOC, the afterburn. That's the second step. The third step, very important, is that the accumulation of lean tissue above and beyond what you had to start with is going to increase the amount of calories your body needs to consume for its daily functions, or called a BMR, basal metabolic rate. For example, if you basically laid in a coma for 24 hours and you did no movement whatsoever and had minimal brain function, you would burn, let's say, 1,200 calories. That's your basal metabolic rate. Okay. Now let's say you have that rate, plus you're working, you're getting up, you're showering, you're doing the house cleaning, yard work, whatever it is you're doing. So let's say we add another 700 calories on top of that basal metabolic rate. So now our total calories for the day used to keep our body weight consistent would be 1,900. 1,200 plus 700 of activity. I'm just giving an example. It's different for everybody, depending on your weight and your activity level, muscle mass, etc. But let's say you were able to add over the course of a cycle, a cycle of training, 10, 12 weeks, whatever it is, which also depends on how new you are and obviously your testosterone level. So if you're male, it's going to be a lot easier. Female is a little bit more challenging. And let's say you were able to get your basal metabolic rate up to 1,400. So we add 200 calories of energy required just to keep you alive. So that means if we change nothing else other than whatever training session you had before, you are now going to be consuming, your body will be consuming 2,100 calories of energy just to stay exactly the same. So to function with keeping you alive and performing the activities that you were asking of it. Now, if you were eating the same 1,900 calories you were before, you have now incurred a caloric deficit of 200 calories a day. Everybody's following me on this. So that means over the course of a month, you'd probably lose 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of body fat if you change nothing else. So that's pretty exciting. The bigger benefit, in my opinion, is that increase in muscle mass is going to give you a better aesthetic look. So your shoulders get broader, your legs get more shapely and muscular. Your waist will not get larger unless you do some weird specific training. And whether you're male or female, that's a look that's going to help your figure. So if you're female and you're looking for that hip to waist ratio of a certain amount, plus maybe you want to have that hourglass shape, having broader shoulders and a narrower waist and stronger hips is going to do that. If you're a man, having broader shoulders, a narrow waist is exactly the look you're going for if you want to be attractive. It also signals that you're in better health, which is why it's more attractive. It's how evolutionary biology works. Regardless, so the third, that's almost like a bonus benefit. You look better. So if your main goal is to lose body fat, I want to lose 10 pounds of body fat, 20 pounds of body fat, 70 pounds of body weight. Guys, I'll tell you, in my experience, most of the clients that come to us realistically are 40 to 70 pounds over their ideal weight. And that sounds like a crazy amount, but it's kind of the way it is. Now, 40 pounds is significant, especially if you're a female. But I know a lot of guys who think that, I just got to lose 15 pounds. And I go, yeah, that's a good start. So let's recap. Let's use this information and help ourselves out. The first way that resistance training helps you lose body fat is you use extra calories during the workout, just as if you did for a jog or if you went for a bike ride. The second way is you get the afterburn effect, the excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. Okay. The third way is by adding lean tissue to your frame, you increase your basal metabolic rate, which allows you to burn more calories just being you. And the bonus way is lean tissue added onto your body is going to improve your aesthetics. It's going to give you a figure that's more attractive to the opposite sex. Now, maybe you don't need that. Maybe you have someone that you're happy with. Great. But it also means you're healthier too. All right, this is Coach Jay. Now, if you like this content and you find value in it, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hit the bell notification so you'll know when I have a new video coming out. It just helps us in the algorithm to get our message out. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. 3 ways that resistance training is going to help you lose even more body fat.